If you want to lose fat and keep it off, you have to focus on building healthy habits and living a healthy lifestyle rather than doing a 30-day challenge that you're just doing because you want to fit a certain outfit or because there's a certain event coming up. America has done a great job of making us unhealthy individuals. We have fast food, we have overly processed foods in our kitchen or at the grocery stores, and we have so many convenient ways to eat using DoorDash and Uber Eats, things like that, and it keeps us from really eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle. We're working corporate jobs where we're sitting all day and we're working for 8 to 10 hours a day to where we don't really have time to, walk around, eat lunch, or, take a 1 hour lunch break and go back home and eat your lunch or bring your lunch to work and spend a whole hour digesting that food and then maybe going on a walk afterwards. And so it is hard these days to live a healthy lifestyle if you're not being intentional. But there's a difference between going on a fat loss journey for a short amount of time versus just living a healthy lifestyle so that you will feel good every single day of the year and not just for 20 to 30 days for a specific goal that you have. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with doing a challenge, but I definitely think that the proof is in the pudding when everyone tries to, oh, well, I'm going on a trip and so I'm going to, go on a 10-day fast and not eat anything but, fruits and waters so that I can fit my, my dress or my bikini for my vacation. Like, it just doesn't work because as soon as that vacation is over, you go right back into doing those unhealthy habits and then you gain all that weight right back immediately. And so I just want you guys to understand the difference between healthy lifestyle and a quick 30-day challenge. So when you are doing a challenge, you are only doing these habits to reach a certain goal within a certain amount of time. That can be cool to a certain degree. But living a healthy lifestyle where wellness is the goal, where you want to be able to keep the weight off for the rest of your life, you want to engage in habits that are sustainable and easy to follow because you've created systems and routines. So, me personally, when I first started my fitness journey, it was all about the gym. So I went to the gym a lot and I also tried a lot of diets. So I would do challenges where I would only eat salads or, I would do no carbs for a certain amount of days or weeks. And that just wasn't sustainable because a lot of the foods that we love are carbs. I love bread. I love ice cream, cookies. I'm not going to deny that. I love Reese's. So because I was doing these diets that weren't sustainable, I would lose some weight and then I would gain it right back. Because I would go long without eating it, depriving myself of it, and then I would go back and I would binge it. So I would eat, back to back of these certain food groups that I had cut out. And it's just not a healthy way to live. You don't want to keep going through this yo-yo diet, this crash dieting. It's just not a healthy relationship with food. And it's not good to see food as being bad or, you can say that foods are unhealthy for you, but just saying that something is bad for you is not really a healthy way to look at food. And yes, there is a difference between bad and unhealthy. Reese's are unhealthy, but I wouldn't want to say that it's bad because then you start to demonize food and make food be the problem. It's just all about the connotation of the word bad. But if you just say that something is unhealthy, your brain will hopefully register that as being okay. It may not give you the right amount of nutrients. It may not really help you reach your macros, but that doesn't mean that it's quote unquote bad for you. Now, of course, yeah, it is, but you don't want to actually say that. And so for me, what I started to do was learn about nutrition and learn I just need to eat high protein meals. Oh, I just need to eat complex carbs. I started to learn the difference between simple sugars and complex sugars. So complex carbs are, potatoes and rice and whole grains, oats, things like that, versus simple sugars are things that are made and that are easily digestible. So things like, white bread, sweets, pastries, waffles, things like that that are, easily to be digested. So it's not really doing anything for your body but going straight through you or being stored as fat. Those are the sugars that aren't quote unquote good for you or nutritious, versus the other side of it, complex carbs, or what's good for your overall body and your energy levels. So I started to learn about that. Then I started learning about steps. Like, okay, yeah, it's great that I'm strength training for 5 days a week, but I'm not doing enough cardio. I'm sitting down too much. I work out for 30 minutes to an hour, strength training, and then I go and I sit at a desk for 8 hours a day. That's not really going to help me to keep the weight off. So the whole point of this video is that I want you guys to kind of learn some of the daily habits that you should be focused on if you want to keep the weight off. So yeah, you may be a little bit extreme in the beginning when you start your fitness journey. For those who, are really serious about their goals, you may be doing a lot of cardio on top of strength training, being very, very, very clean with your diet. Great, like that's amazing. But then you may want to kind of adjust it to where it's more sustainable, to where you may eat out a couple of times a week, whether that's 1, 2, maybe 3 times a week, just depending on what it is you're eating. You may not strength train 5 days a week. You may strength train 3 days a week, but you're still making sure you're getting in daily cardio and daily steps. You're drinking a lot of water. So you want to live a lifestyle that you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life, not just something that you see yourself doing for 30 days or a month. So here are some things that I would focus on if I was wanting to adopt a healthier lifestyle to where I can lose the weight and keep it off. First thing, I would cook more meals at home / meal prep. So like I said, I meal prep twice a week pretty much. I cook twice a week. I cook meals that'll last me 2 to 3 days, and then same thing, 2 to 3 days. But cooking more meals at home is self-explanatory. 1, you're saving money, but 2, you're in control of your ingredients, of what you're putting into your food. You can be more intentional about what's on your plate and the portion sizes. You want to, if you want to be able to keep the weight off, you may want to consistently be in a very, very, very slight deficit. So you may want to eat, smaller portions, or maybe your last meal you don't eat any carbs. That's pretty much what I do. But you're able to be more intentional about what's on your plate and what's going into your body when you cook more meals at home. And like I said, you can still eat out a couple of times a week, but your main goal is to eat more home cooked meals, meal prep, take food with you to work. That's very important to live a healthy lifestyle these days in America. And so that's just one of the best ways that you can really focus on, keeping the weight off as you go throughout your life. Next thing is exercising every week. So for me, I just changed my program to strength train 5 days a week, but for the past 3 to 4 months, I was strength training 4 days a week, but I wanted to focus on particular muscle groups. So I was like, let me add in a 5th day. But I also have a daily step goal. So my daily step goal is 10,000 steps, 6 days a week. And then days like today on Sunday, I don't have a step goal, but I did go to the gym today because yesterday I was still sore from Friday's workout. But typically Sundays are like my full rest day where I don't do any exercise. And so that is something that has helped me to keep my weight down. Definitely, especially the step goal. So like I said, every day I'm making sure that I'm moving my body around. So I work a job where I'm on my feet all day anyway, so that really is like easy for me to do. But for some people, you may have to be more intentional. So maybe if you work in a corporate job, you can take breaks in between meetings. You have a walking desk, or you have a walking desk at home, while you're at work or during meetings. You can be walking on a walking pad instead of just sitting down. You may have to wake up earlier to work out, or work out when you get off work. But it's definitely something that you have to be intentional about. But if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, you don't have to be extreme to where you're doing 2-hour workout sessions a day. No, you can just have a step goal. Maybe you do like 15 to 20 minutes of cardio every day, but it's not something where you have to like be super extreme. Like I said, in the beginning, if you have a big goal that you want to reach, cool, go have at it. But to be sustainable and live a life that is worth having, and to actually enjoy the exercise and not just only looking at it from a goal-driven perspective, Just have tiny habits such as a daily step goal and how many days you want to go to the gym. The recommended times is 2 to 3 days a week. Of course, if you can do more, do more. Next thing, and this is like one of the most important things that I mentioned, is limiting your alcohol and sugary drink intake. So alcohol is very high in calories, and alcohol is just not good for your body at all. But I guess at this point will say I'm biased because I don't drink alcohol at all. But alcohol is just not good for you from a health perspective when it comes to body composition, but also your mindset and your brain. Like alcohol is just not good for your liver. So many reasons why we should not be drinking alcohol, but that's neither here nor there. So limiting your alcohol for this specific video, mainly because of the calorie consumption. It adds up a lot of calories. And then sugary drinks, so like those coffees and those juices, and and I'm not talking about homemade fresh juice. I'm talking about the juice that you buy on the aisles at the grocery store. All those things and sodas have so many calories and so many grams of sugar. It's insane, and you can literally get a whole week's worth of sugar needs in 1 to 2 drinks. So like that should be enough for you to be like, yeah, I need to cut out a lot of this sugar. Because a lot of times when you're overweight, it's really just inflammation from so much sugar and processed foods that you're putting into your body. So you definitely want to live a lifestyle where you're not overly intaking alcohol. So if you drink wine or whatever every night, maybe you want to cut that down to maybe only a couple of times a week, maybe only on weekends, however you want to put that. But everyday consumption of alcohol is just not healthy for your overall well-being, but also if you're wanting to keep the weight off. Also, like, yeah, with the sugary drinks, maybe you learn how to make your own coffee at home, or find ways to drink coffee at coffee shops that are less in calories. So maybe you change the milk, maybe you do less pumps of sugar. Even if you get smoothies, maybe doing half of the, like Smoothie King, or not Smoothie King, Tropical Smoothie Cafe. When I go there, I get no turbinado, or I do half of the turbinado instead of all of the sugar that they put in there. So just finding little tweaks in your life that are, beneficial to your overall health and lifestyle. Like I said, you want to do things that you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life. You may not want to cut out alcohol, but maybe you can see yourself saying, okay, I won't drink every weekend, maybe once or twice a month, or maybe not every night, maybe just 2 or 3 nights a week. And so just finding things that, are not too depriving, if that's something that you want to do, but also just finding ways to be healthier when it comes to what you're putting into your body. So yeah, I hope you guys can take some of these tips when it comes to how to live an overall healthy lifestyle, so that you will, be able to keep that weight off and not have to always be on some type of challenge, or, overworking yourself to reach a certain goal by a certain amount of time. It's all about habits that you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life. Sustainable habits, getting enough sleep, drinking water, eating meals that have protein. Okay, sorry, I said something about my camera overheating. So yeah, meals with protein, eating your fruits and vegetables on a daily basis, and continuing to move your body on a daily basis. So I hope you guys can take some tips from this video, and if you like this, go ahead and like and comment on it. I am a wellness coach, so if you're looking to work with someone who can help you live an overall healthy lifestyle, I'm your girl. I will see you guys in the next video.